The 5th day of Broncos training camp practice started a little different today. A 5-year-old came up to the media and said, "Are you the media?" We said, "Yes." He said, "Don't say anything bad today." So let's start with the positive. Let's start with the positive today. I'll listen to the kid, and the positive from the quarterback competition is Bo Nix displaying the wheels. But I shouldn't do that. He was flying down the field a couple of times, maybe a near sack, but with Bo Nix's wheels, he might get out. That's what was on display from Bo today as he got work with the first team today. But when it came to the passing, Bo Nix struggled today. Maybe his worst day passing the ball. No bad decisions, but he didn't have a pass that was more than a check down today. Now, it was a limited practice, so he didn't have very many opportunities. It was the wheels that you focus on, especially if you want to be positive, of Bo Nix. When it came to the other two quarterbacks, though, Zach Wilson and Jarrett Stidham actually had pretty good days through the air. Zach Wilson had the highs and the lows. Zach Wilson had a really nice play, a completion to Greg Dulcich near the end of practice, and then he almost threw an interception, but it was broken up. And then Jarrett Stidham was consistent as can be. Maybe a ball didn't even touch the ground when he was the quarterback. He also had a nice 15-yard completion to Troy Franklin. So quarterbacks in different ways looked good today. Probably consistent Stiddy won the day. But here's what Sean had to say about quarterbacks running. Specifically, we saw Bo run today. Here's what Sean had to say about that and how important it is.
Quarterbacks are taught to flush. The receivers are taught to move with the QB. There's scramble rules for both sides of the ball. And so let's gain something from each one of these plays. And then as the fan, sometimes you look at it and you wonder, is that a sack? And we can tell on film, there's times where the quarterback is going to get out. There's a play like where Nick steps up, and I think he's going to have a pretty good game. But we try to get something out of each play.
The pads were popping today out at training camp for the first time. The pads came on. That means the offense and defensive line really got to hit each other, and the defensive line won today. In fact, the first two plays of team period kind of spoke for the rest of practice. Baron Browning flies off the edge, tackle for a loss. Next play, Zach Allen, despite a false start from the offense, he still flies through the offensive line, gets a tackle for a loss. The defensive line was an absolute monster today, really on all three levels in the pass game, pressuring the quarterback, getting sacks in the run game, causing a lot of tackles for a loss. The defensive line started off hot, and that's expected. Sean Payton said that's typically how things go, days here, days there. And for the most part, the defense has been the better unit so far. It's not something to worry about, but it's good pads are on now.
The thing you got to balance is the head coach, regardless of whether you're a head coach involved in the offense or the defense, is growth on both sides of the ball. And so, we had some snap count. We had, a handful of things that we have to get cleaned up. But that can be true early on with pads.
I know everyone misses the old 31, but there's a new 31 in town. Rookie cornerback Chris Abrams-Drain, and he was making plays out there today. He had a really nice pass breakup, almost an interception in practice today, covering Cortland Sutton. And Sean Payton has taken notice of the rookie, so get used to maybe seeing 31 out there this year again.
He's a player that we've seen a noticeable jump from the spring to when he returned. There's a little bit, he's playing a little bit more decisively with more confidence, and that's probably because he's getting to know the system. It's hard to play that way if you're thinking and you don't know exactly the assignment as well as you need to, but he's noticeably been more comfortable in his role right now.